All right. Yeah, looks like it does work. Good morning, good afternoon. I think somewhere ever. I'm just used to saying good afternoon because of power hour. But yeah, we open up in 5 minutes, so I'm gonna bullshit around for 5 minutes until we do get ready over here. All these lines. I'm just gonna give it another minute or two or more. I really wanted the order flow open because I wanted to check out some leaps and show you guys what's been coming through, like Ford and stuff. Yeah, when I search it, it comes up. That's weird. Whatever. I mean, I'll deal with it. It might just be an open thing. They might have just updated it, so it might just all update in about a minute. Yeah, the Ford is. This is going to be the play in my opinion. I still think that this is going to be one of the ones that bangs out the most play out of everything because, I mean, Ford is already breaking out of this on the daily. So when we were looking at those order flow leaps that were coming in before, I mean, these all should start paying out. So right now, Ford is clearing over the red line. So you're automatically looking at about 15 and 1562 as the target area, right around this range level. So all those calls that are coming in, they should definitely pay out. The real thing is going to be once we start clearing over the $16 area and heading to about that 18. That's when you're going to start seeing multiple hundreds come through on those calls. So we'll check them out. Looks like the market did go ahead and open. So let me see if this flow fixes itself once market opens up. Yes, it does. Okay. Never mind. I got it. Okay, so it's coming in live right off the bat. We got AMD call flow coming in. What are we looking at on AMD? AMD with its gap up, looking very, very nice over here. So you're looking at about 90 over here as a target point right now. Let's go over here on the weekly. Damn, it's very hard to talk with this shit in my mouth. Oh well, I'm gonna have to suffer through it. All right, so what we're looking for right now, at least what I'm looking for right now, is I'm looking for a lot of these weekly setups that are forming over here with the clouds. But it doesn't look like that's coming right now. Any chance we get on the daily, we're pretty much failing every single move there and just rushing down. So that's very, very good for our metals. I think that's most of you guys should be in most of your metal plays. I didn't give any kind of signal to exit out right now. What we're looking right now is we're reaching at the important level for gold. So this was kind of the main level right now is the 1957 level. A little bit of consolidation over here is normal. Up and down is fine. But once we clear this level, that's going to be the major point. Because once we start clearing over 2000, I mean, that's going to be the major point that's going to really push tickers off. And what I mean by those tickers are like these tickers. Those gold bug tickers that I've been talking about for a couple months now. Let me get these all pulled up over here on the daily versus the monthly. So what we'll be looking at right now is a lot of these tickers now went ahead and reset some of their levels over here, went ahead and support tested once they cleared over. So we're looking for extensions up to the next level sets. So what I mean by that is anything that's trending on the monthly B-bands line, we're looking for upper B-bands levels over here. So I'll just start going by them real slowly, real quick. So this is coming up from setup A to setup B, which means that we're going to be reaching to the monthly B-bands point, a little bit of consolidation heading to the next two target levels above. BVN consolidating at the monthly B-bands line, which is a dashed blue line, heading up to the next level over here at the $10 level. And again, all these target levels rely on gold. So consolidation is good. A clear over this level is even better. Pullbacks give you an idea to judge the weakness on things, and there really hasn't been much weakness. I mean, there's a couple things that had weakness, but if they recover back over, we'll be totally fine on that. So we'll go back over them in just a minute. See, like these things that are already popping off the monthly B-bands heading to the upper B-bands over here. Those are the things that you want to take profit on. So if you've been in those tickers, once we start hitting these levels, I mean, it's okay to go ahead and start taking some off. It's good to have conviction, but it's good to take profit as well. So make sure you're taking profit on the ones that are hitting these upper levels. Like, for example, this is like one of the great ones that ended up playing out really, really nicely off the monthly B-bands. Rode all the way back up. another thing to focus on is if for some reason we do start clearing this purple line is super important. It's the high points of back in 2020, back last year around 2022 when we reached the 2,000 point in gold. Once we clear this level, I mean, that's going to really set us off with a lot of these gold tickers. So anything that you're seeing over here that's trending on the monthly B-bands line over here, you're going to see these things starting to extend out much, much more. Let me show you something over here. So like AUY, that's the ticker that we have over there. Let me switch to the monthly aspect over here. If you guys have tickers, put them in. I mean, look at this. So AUY is one of the ones that are over here. I mean, you're looking at a monthly B-bands compression already happening over here. So once we do start extending up, you'll start seeing things riding up the upper B-bands cloud. We haven't rode anything to the upper side just yet. That 2,000 level is going to be super important for things like these. Let me go ahead and draw our level over here. So yeah, metals are probably the easiest play in the market in my opinion. That's just my own opinion. It's been easy for the last 2 months. I really haven't had to do anything at all on these. So for AUI, level clearing over here on 7 will really trigger us to the run to the upside. There's other ones like NEM. NEM needs to go ahead and clear over here at the $60 level, and then we're good to go. But yeah, a lot of these tickers on the gold end of things I still think are setting up. Let me check silver out. I mean, silver's out of the monthly clouds, so that's beautiful. Let me check the daily. Yeah, silver's been having a little bit of consolidation over here. I mean, this is fantastic. I want to check SLV over here now, see if SLV's been consolidating. Oh my God, this is beautiful. So with something like this, let's go ahead and check out over here. SLV, nothing for today for SLV, at least not yet. Let's check for earlier this week. All right, 86% bullish for SLV. The ones that we want to avoid are things like this. I mean, I still do think they're playable, but when you're seeing 154K open interest, you just want to be aware of like how deep you want this stuff to go. So just be careful about the ones that are at 154K open interest. That's a lot of open interest. You're probably only going to get 20 to 40% out of there, unless we get really deep in the money. You might get a little bit more, but I still feel like your R&R is going to be much better if you're aiming for a little higher. So like SLV right now, if I'm going to be looking for calls, they're going to be something placed around the 23 and 24 area. Anything being over 24 being a little bit OTM and lotto-y, just because of the fact that I want this to clear over this level and hang over it. So picking 24 and waiting for that to go in the money might destroy me if I get caught in chop. If I buy 23, I should be fine. So let's look for 23 over here. Anything 23 coming in. So we do see some 23 over here. We're seeing 224, 23. Let's see if there's any data plays for 23. Anything coming in for January. Let's check the strikes. I mean, it's nice to see these exotic strikes over here. And it's not like these exotic strikes are short-term plays. They're dated out plays. If you notice over here, June, April, September. Some of these are even 2025 plays coming in. I mean, this is what I'm really, really interested in is the dated players because we haven't seen them all year long. So it's really nice to see these plays coming in, people building up the open interest over here. So this is something that I'm more so interested in. So back to those 2023 strikes. So if I'm looking for something right now, it'll be something like 616, 23 calls over here at $1.20 price, 350, only about 3,500 open interest. Let me go ahead and check the chart itself. SLB. Let's check what they're priced at right now. Dismiss. We're looking at, what was that date? Okay, June 16th, 23 strikes. So yeah, they're still priced pretty much about the same right now. So the players who bought back in for $500,000 over here around these 2 points. So these are the ones that are highlighted in purple, which makes things even better. So right now, what are these players coming in? These are coming in as sweeps. So yeah, you'd actually be getting a discount on these right now, considering the fact that these guys are actually at a loss right now for buying. Not by much right now. It's priced at 117 and 118, and these guys bought in at 123. But this is the kind of play that I expect more sweeps to line up on, and for us to start running up a lot more. So this is something you can scale into slowly and slowly accumulate over the next like month, depending on wherever your stance is on the market. Yo, good morning. And good morning, Tomcat, Nick the Chef, the bot in here that's randomly writing in here, Pluto, Hio. Rallies like that are typically some kind of fundamental related rallies, but we can go ahead and check. Yeah, that's absolutely insane. If you got options on this, it's a dream come true. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really know. Typically, whenever I want to look at something like that, I just do something like this, and they should typically tell me. Oh, so this must have been an OTC stock that you weren't able to trade normally, and they met the requirements to get listed on NASDAQ, which blasted up the volume over here. So some people are claiming because there was a lot of shorts on there. For me, the most common sense is the fact that this probably was an OTC ticker prior to this, and then we got approved for NASDAQ, and here we go. But yeah, it's hard for me. I don't typically try to play these kind of plays. I have other people that do these kind of things. Like, actually, I don't even know any kind of people that I can mention off the top that I'd want to really mention. But I mean, yeah, these plays are playable. It's just I hate playing plays like this. These kind of things, you got to like look at the fundamentals of the stocks and the actual technicals of it, not exactly the TA of it. So if something I can't typically figure out via TA or via my Ichimoku strategy and B-band strategy, I try to just stay away from it. But if for some reason you were looking at it and you saw, hey, shorts are going to get blown out, you might have been able to be right. Just like the other day when everybody played LCID over here. Some people played it ahead of time because of the fact that Tesla was going up and they got paid the fuck out. I saw a lot of people cashing out on a couple 1,000% on calls. So there are rare circumstances where you end up getting right on your scenario, or something ends up playing out a little more exotically than normal. But it's not typically a normal situation that you should be betting on and trying to search for. There's actionable setups that are a lot better. Yeah, no problem. The one thing I really, really want to discuss is this one. Dude, thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you for all the support and hopping in all the time. All right, so here's the one that I really am curious about over here. Once we can get this level clear over here on 90, a lot of the oil tickers and gas tickers are all just going to start running with this one. So main level to watch right now for crude and oil right now is this $90 level. Once we can clear this, we're all good to go over here. I saw Catchboy mentioning that he wanted to go long NRGU. I end up following him every once in a while on this one because we have confluence on oil and energy right now. So I will be looking to get long some of this. Just commons on this one. I don't really want to necessarily do options on this, but I will do commons on this. Just going to give it a couple more days because I'm not seeing the signals fully just yet. If you guys notice while going outside, if you guys notice your gas going up, I mean, the prices of gas are definitely going to explode with that. I'm noticing my gas starting to creep back up, back to those high levels. So premium, I'm getting close to paying $5 again for my gas. It's not like I go out often, but when I do go out, it's getting close to $5. So once we clear that $5 level in local gas, I'm assuming all this stuff is going to be breaking out. I think a lot of you guys grabbed my copper play. This is the one I'm very, very extremely bullish on. I'm kind of biased on this as well, but I mean, just the fundamentals behind it with copper and the fundamentals behind the companies itself is just something I'm very bullish on. So a little bit of consolidation over here. Once we clear 183, you're looking at about 240 over here. A main trigger for this is just watching copper. Once FCX starts clearing this 45 level, we'll start seeing that go through. And once 45 clears for copper, you're looking at about 62. So it's pretty much guaranteed all-time highs at this point. I don't see anything fundamentally bad about it. JJT is another one over here. So JJT did pull back. But again, this is all going to be fine. It's all going to keep running. If you're looking at Tinbot, you can actually pay attention to this. Again. All right, DYDX. Let me do that one. I mean, with most of crypto right now, it is just about worrying about 1 hour and 4 hour setups right now. I mean, I see the daily setups, but if we start losing these 4 hour levels over here, that's where I'm going to start getting a little bit concerned. Because if we don't start pushing out of 4 hour levels, we're just going to pretty much lose over here with crypto. as far as Bitcoin is concerned right now. Somebody posted something, and it's probably the most likely bet of what's going to happen over here. Let me take a look here. What did they say? Yeah, this. I mean, this is what you should assume is going to happen in crypto. Even if you think it's not going to happen, it's just best to play the worst case scenario in your head and adjust for the scenario, and then go from there. So typically when we end up legging up like this, it's really hard for us to go ahead and see a third leg on things, especially when we're consolidating like this. So it's not very good at all. I've been meaning to talk to my buddy Skew about things. He's really good at interpreting the markets. Let me pull him up real quick. So if you guys want a more of a data aspect, Skew's really good. Just something to look at, to pay attention to what's going on at these levels. There's people that break down each of these ticks that happen over here, especially the wicks that have been happening to the upside. But for right now, as far as I'm concerned, this is in range. But what we need to do with Bitcoin right now is BTC USD. I mean, this is really cool. Just before I continue elsewhere, if for some magical reason we can break into the clouds over here on Bitcoin, I mean, that's going to be fantastic. The only one of the majors that are actually doing it is Litecoin, and I don't know if this is because of the fact that we're going to be doing a halving. But if for some reason we're into the clouds over here, I mean, you're looking at about 180, 170 for a move to the upside, and you can probably aim lower to about 140. So Bitcoin getting into the clouds is going to be something that's going to be amazing and absolutely perfect for this to actually blow through. A lot of people are betting for general tops around that 27, 28K level, which is also the top area for the clouds as well. So it's really interesting to see everybody's aspect right now, where their levels lie and all sorts of things over here. I mean, if we're looking at pure price action levels, I would say I would probably draw something like this. 30K is the top range. You could probably aim a little bit lower and be more reasonable and aim for about 26.5. So, I mean, it's nice that Bitcoin had bottomed out. I mean, I think the biggest thing about Bitcoin right now is that we ended up recovering this entire SAM dump. So if we do end up pulling back, and we should pull back, I would say 21.2. If we can hold that level, that would be fantastic. And that kind of leads to whatever that person posted yesterday on that chart that I just showed you, where we go up and down and come back down and consolidate a little bit more and then continue back up. But yeah, only time will tell. And it's not going to be something where we just end up breaking out randomly and just get like a fucking 3-4K candle. It's not going to be something like that. You'll be able to see that move ahead of time, and you'll be able to manage for that move. Altcoins might not do too good if that happens, but we'll be able to judge the move depending on wherever it goes right now. Right now, all I care about is the fact that it's in range. I did post another chart about this too. So if you want to focus on your levels or get them drawn the same way. Where is it? Did I post it? Maybe I didn't post it. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. If you draw your lines over here, there's no need to get bearish unless we lose like the 4-hour cloud. So right now in the 4-hour, we're not losing the clouds. We haven't lost anything. We're finishing up on the FTA by, it looks like it's going to be by the end of the week. So we'll know this weekend if we're going to continue on higher or if we're going to dump through. Let me check the rest of yours. DYDX. Another exchange token type shit over here on this. I mean, I don't really have much to say other than people are going to keep playing things like this for a little bit. So it's cool to ride the momentum on this. Again, another weekly setup type thing. So things like this, this is kind of something I'm more so interested in. So there's a lot of stock, crypto tickers, which are more so like this. I don't know how to, well, I'll show you as I see them, but something that listed like this went up and then has been going down and consolidating for a little bit. This is kind of what I want to look for in crypto tickers right now. So something that I want to buy and hold on to, or at least bet on for the upside. This is pretty much it, something like this. So I love this setup over here. Typical crypto setup that ends up paying out by just simply holding. Gala is another one I see people talking about. Again, another fantastic setup over here. Things that end up launching up and coming right back down and have been consolidating at the bottom. I'm hoping you brought one that's actually a shitty setup and not all good setups. Yeah, so CRV over here. I mean, CRV is cool. But the issue with CRV again is this is a ticker that's been around for a little bit. So you got levels over here to worry about. So if I was going to draw levels of resistance, you have a level over here. So this isn't something necessarily that I would assume is going to do the same thing as Gala. So like Gala, let me bring that back up. If we're looking at Gala over here, I know that we can probably hit something like this. If we're going to do any kind of pattern over here, I would assume we should be able to hit something like this into the pattern before we end up dumping down and consolidating a little bit more. But when it comes to something like CRV, I would just expect a lot less. So yeah, with CRV, I'd only expect about 250. I mean, it's still more. It's about a double anyway, so you're still winning. It's just not as winning as before. Ape. Damn. I mean, Ape's a little different one. Ape kind of relies on like the fundamentals of whatever Bored Ape people are doing and what's going on in that land. I'm not against it. It's just if I was going to classify things in terms of risk, I would definitely put Ape in the top category of risks. So if I was going to look for any kind of play and I missed on any kind of play, I'd want to go ahead and try to top out some kind of top or bottom level. I mean, more so a top level over here. I'm sorry. So I'd be looking at 770 and seeing if we can get resistance over here and dump back down. So for Ape being a high risk ticker just to grab and hold, it'd be something I'd more so look for a short and try to time out the top. INJ. Too many smart people are talking about INJ inflows and just the INJ data over here. So I'm not going to be fading INJ at all. It's going on a really insane run. So definitely not worth chasing with normal size. But again, same thing. Tickers that were up over here at some point and have just been consolidating on the bottom side. They have more of an upside to bring us. And I would say you're looking at about $8 for the upside. ET Cloud ends at about 780. So you can probably lower this down a little bit. So still a nice run. I mean, we're pretty much at weekly cloud entries for a lot of these tickers. So we'll get a really clear answer this weekend as far as what Bitcoin's going to do and how that's going to affect a lot of the altcoin markets. And the last one, SFP. That's a huge pass. I'm pretty sure that's a SAM ticker. Yeah, that got faded out completely. I don't even know why it didn't squeeze more. But yeah, this one's a pass altogether. I don't care what happens with this ticker. It's hard to play this ticker. And especially just right now with everything behind it. So SFP is a pass. Everything else you mentioned is great. Out of all those, I would say DYDX and Gala are probably my favorite ones. And then it's Matic. And then it's who cares about the rest? I mean, I could still play the rest if I wanted to. But the easiest ones are those three. DYDX, Gala, and Matic. Ape would be something I'd look for a short on. CRV is something I'd pass on. INJ is something I'd play bi-weekly continuation on if I was going to be sitting at the screen all day and trying to scalp shit. And then SFP is just a completely big pass. JJT is the one I just talked about right now. JJT did pull back a little bit, but everything is still good on JJT. What I was mentioning was Tinbot. If you go ahead and follow Tinbot. Once Tinbot starts hitting over about 35K for Tin, JJT should start taking off. JJT to hit back into all-time highs and fill up this final gap, you just need about 40K on Tin. So once we get 40K on Tin, you'll see JJT aiming for this gap fill around that 140 area. So if you did end up buying JJT at the bottom or around this area, you should be set for a good hold right now. Metals are still very bullish right now, and Dixie is still very bearish. We might get some relief over here with Dixie, but I mean, I'm just not seeing it at all right now. Dixie's not getting any kind of strength right now. Any kind of chance it does get bullish, it fails out. This is what I tried to post to people. If you know, you know. I think that's what I posted. Yeah, this one. So if you notice over here with this one the other day, we ran up right to the monthly B bands over here, which is confluent with just a general price action resistance, and we failed. We failed over here right at the mid B bands line, and we're back down over here. So you're still looking at lower over here. The real big thing for right now is if you want to throw any kind of caution in the air, it would be, I mean, it's good to be cautious of the fact that we've been going down for some time. There should be some sort of relief that comes through on Dixie, but you'll be able to tell that on the 4-hour or on the daily. On the 4-hour over here, if we start breaking out of levels or we start clearing over certain levels, then that's something to worry about. But for right now, there isn't any bit of worry right now on Dixie. The only concern is we will bounce at some point, but we'll see that ahead of time, like over here on the 4-hour. And I'll tweet about it ahead of time too. If we rip to 25K, yeah, man, that would be great. 25K. Well, I would say 26K is probably a better bet, but either way, I mean, it's still good for the crypto environment right now if we start pushing up. Again, I'm still very, very blown away by crypto with the fact that we did this. I mean, this is my main thing for crypto is we went ahead and flipped this level over here. Like, this is pretty much the Sam dump over here and all the FTX drama, and that was at about 21K. But instead, we were like, you know what? Because typically, on any kind of other event, this would have been the top over here, 19-20K. That would have been the top. We would have ended up retracing back down the entire move, and everybody would have been wrecked. So right now, I really haven't looked at where like the max pain lies in crypto. That's probably something good to look at to see where the liquidation levels are, see which side gets hurt the most. But I mean, hey, I mean, this is fantastic. I'm so blown away that we were able to recover past this and pump beyond that point. So yeah, good for crypto. I mean, that's good for the crypto people that we did that. Yeah, well, I don't mind looking at anything. If you guys have tickers, I'm not in any kind of rush. This is another ticker where I'd want to look for like some sort of bottom forming out over here. So it looks like it's trying on the daily over here. Let's see if there's order flow. Nothing for today. Let's check for the last month. Oops. All bearish right now. So there's nothing bullish about this one. Let's look at something then. All right, so with this one, what I'm noticing is that for the past month, you're seeing order flow that expires around that 217 point. So you have major option expirations happening on that 217 point. So if I was going to try to bet on some sort of bottom, I'd probably give it about, probably look for it next week. So if next week this still starts looking good on the daily and still holds up on this level at the 30 level, then I'd start getting bullish on this one. Because this is pretty much all just bearish options order flow right now. And it's all short term right now as well. So let's look at something else. Yeah, I mean, if I was going to try to grab calls or try to nail some sort of bottom with some sort of time on my hand, you got these 519.35 strikes or 519.40 strikes. And at that point, you're just pretty much betting on directional volatility at that point. But still, that's something that I'd want to more so look into next week and see how the option expirations go for next week. Dude, yeah, man, thank you for hopping on, and you have a good day. All right, let's get back to stocks over here. Let's see how SPY's going over here with that one. Still nothing. I mean, obviously it shows that we're pretty much just waiting on Powell. Looks like it's coming back down right now. So if I was going to look for something right now in SPY, it would be on the 5-minute chart. So if the 5-minute starts losing some levels or getting into the clouds, that's kind of where I'd be looking at for this one. So you're looking at about 11:30, 11:45. So if we can break into the clouds around that point, this should go ahead and break down lower. If we don't start losing the clouds at all, it should just end up going higher to about 408. So that's kind of the only play I'm really seeing is on the 5-minute. All right, let me go back to this order flow again. Where are my leaps? Oh, look at this. FCX coming in with calls. But their shorter term calls 120. No, they're 24 calls. Oh, man. But they're a little expensive over here. You're trying to buy some leaps. So, like, for example, something like this. If you're trying to buy... Like if you're trying to buy some leaps on something that's been going up like this for straight up like for about over a month now, you're going to be paying a good premium over here. So these are 45 strikes over here for this one. I mean, it's pretty much close to in the money, but you're paying about 740 for this one. It just doesn't seem like something that if you're somebody that doesn't have that much money or somebody that isn't running like a professional option strategy, I just don't see the point of buying 740 calls for 45 strikes for a year out. You're exposing yourself to a lot of decay, and just negative price movements would just be really bad for you. So buying something like that is just not something I want to do. Nice to see the order flow, though. This one coming in is very, very nice because I'm going to be very bullish on oil and energy soon. So while this one is up and you're not going to be able to buy like leaps or anything of the sorts over here. I mean, you could if they're cheap enough. How cheap are these? $191 for $12 strikes. No way. No fucking way. Are you kidding me? 117. Is this right? Yeah. I'm one dog less, but yeah, it's the little guy. He's fucking annoying. I don't know what's going on with him. He just keeps clacking around. The other day I caught him like clacking like for 2 hours. I was like sleeping and I kept waking up because he was like clacking around. So I like woke up to feed him and he didn't want to eat. He just wanted to roam around late at night at odd hours. But I'm glad you can hear him. So yeah, I can't believe these are still cheap. Like, what's wrong here? There has to be something wrong. Why is the protection so cheap? I mean, the easiest play I can tell you guys right now is probably those forward plays. Like, I mean, I shit you not. This is probably the easiest play I can see. But then again, I'm like used to playing forward, so I know. But buying forward plays and buying forward calls, as long as you're giving yourself another time, just a little bit of time, forward should play out. But let me pull up ET over here on my phone because this is pretty unbelievable. Hold on, not Ethereum. Ethereum. Let me go pull up. And like this is another thing over here. Like look at this. So you're looking at 119.24 plays for $12 strikes, and this is 117.25 plays. Buying yourself just a whole entire year's worth of time only is going to cost you about 40 cents more or about 30 cents more. So that's not bad at all. Let me make sure this is correct. Yeah, this is... Hold on. Wait a second. Yeah, no, this is correct. This is unbelievable. Why is this like this? I mean, I don't know what's going on with ET option pricing, but this is beautiful. It looks like all this chop and consolidation has been hasn't really done much for the options over here, but you can buy dated out calls for this one for a lot higher. So if we do start seeing more movement in the energy and oil area, I could just see this starting to hit up much, much higher. So this is probably one I want to go ahead and add to my own personal watch list to try to scale back into. You're looking at a target about 16, 17. So I wouldn't go beyond 15 on options, but either way, you're still getting dated out protection for very, very cheap if you're bullish on the industry up for at least another year or two. So ET I really like so far. ET is probably the best one so far. Some people like looking at the premium sizes for what comes in. This is for the big premiums that are coming in right now. I'm not a fan of big premiums. I like looking at the smaller players just because I know how to figure out what's getting built in and what people are buying into and are building a position. So let's look at opening order flow for today. These are all the opening orders. And let's look at calls only. So these are the opening calls for today. And let's look at the tech sector because it wasn't looking too bad. So this is all of tech order flow for today. And those are the bigger premiums up there. SQ, AMD, Huya. Let's look at Huya. Oof. Weekly setup over here with Huya. I got to show this to my brother because he's the one who was playing Huya before in the previous years, just playing up and down on the range. So this could get interesting. Yeah, can you take a look at ENPH and ATH? Yeah, ENPH. This isn't the best one. If this manages to hold up over here at the 208 level, maybe you can get a little bit of a bounce out of here. But over here on the daily right now, it looks like it's trying to form a bottom on the daily, but it's pretty much confirmed in a downtrend right now. So this is kind of a pass for me. Ripster on Twitter is kind of the one that follows this one a lot more than me, so I don't really pay attention to the price action and the things behind it. But yeah, I feel like you could probably play a different semiconductor stock outside of this one. ATH, I'm assuming you mean this one. It's the Canadian one. Yeah, this is great. Not a bad setup at all. Something like this looks like it's trying to break out with everything else. So, and it's holding up on the cloud base over here. So yeah, this isn't bad. I would say at least the minimum point right now would be about the 309 area, and then just continuation with the rest of oil. You got the 4-hour chart to balance out your levels over here, so you can probably look for a pullback around the 470 area or 270 area, and then try to grab back and then try to ride it the rest of the way. All right, let's keep looking at what's the highest runner for today. So you're just seeing P-TINs, API. Marvel coming up, LGFA coming up. Boeing just going crazy. So Boeing looks like it's heading to about 230 at this point. Ford coming up today. I mean, Ford, like I said, I know that's going to be running up really nicely. Yeti over here. Yeti setting up on a weekly setup as well. Another one to watch. Like MU's one that you could play instead of the ENPH one that you just mentioned. MU has a better setup over here, so if we can get in by the 213 mark, this should be nice. QCOM has a little bit more consolidation to go. Bank of America getting set up for a really, really nice move. We can close in this week really nicely and open up into the clouds. BMI is consolidating at this point. I'd expect another leg up to about 130 over here. SCCO is another copper ticker over here. We're pretty much at the upper range right now, so we're going to need a little bit of consolidation right now. I mean, most of the copper tickers that I look for, we look like we need a little bit more consolidation before we break out. But essentially in 2023, if everything does go fine, this one will end up hitting all-time highs as well. Euro is coming back up. I'd be curious to see where the rest of restaurants are going as well. Consolidation on silver, ready for another leg up soon. Somebody else mentioned the PHM ticker to me. I didn't even end up playing it, but looks like everything is going beautifully once it ended up support testing over here and is just breaking out really nicely, so it should continue to all-time high. ExxonMobil is one that I'll be wanting to do bi-weekly plays on and trying to grab some longs over here. I could have probably just stayed in commons on this one and never ended up selling on this one, but I ended up selling this one just for a dividend play previously, so I haven't ended up playing it again. But I did end up doing the dividend play over here. So I should have just ended up holding and collecting another free 91-cent dividend. But yeah, XLM is a really good ticker for just general holding. If you're a person that likes to hold and likes to collect yield, nice paying dividend over here. And right now, with the sector being bullish and nothing being bad about it, you're not really going to see much of a downside return. You should still be able to make your money back with dividends, depending on how much you're putting in. NG, let me pull up natural gas real quick and just show you what I mean by this one. So we are at monthly levels for NG over here. So at the most with NG right now, I mean, maybe we deviate a little bit lower, but I'm looking for this one to start forming some sort of bottom right now and start coming back up over here. So it shouldn't be much lower that we start going over here with NG. We should start taking off shortly. I mean, this is a new monthly candle forming over here, so I don't see this monthly candle going all the way down to about 162. We should definitely start forming a bottom soon on this one. And it actually snowed, which is all dry, which is all gone now. But it actually did snow. I'm surprised. What else do we have? I mean, do you guys have any technical questions? Like, I don't know what happened with Maxter either. I don't know if they ended up getting sold out or what happened there. GLD is another one that I want to bring up over here. So GLD, just a little bit more consolidation and heading to the 2011 wick highs, followed by 194. So more consolidation over here, the better. Easier for me to grab in. Again, you're going to miss out on things because you've already missed a gigantic run, so I probably wouldn't buy leaps on something like this, but buying something about 2-3 months out probably wouldn't hurt. Yeah, my Ichi settings are default. I 99% of the time keep everything default. I don't end up changing it anymore, especially for stocks. Stocks, I don't feel like there's a need. Crypto, there's a need once in a while, but with the market's pretty much just tying up one-on-one with legacy, I just don't really see a need for doubling out crypto settings. There's a time and a place for doubling them out, but I just don't find the value in it anymore. When we were a market by itself, like we didn't have any kind of ties to the stock market and we had less money flows coming into the market, yeah, it was pretty important because the 24-hour movements were very important. But now I just don't really feel that double settings are important. And B-band settings are default as well. So I can go ahead and talk about my B-bands thing real quick. I mean, this is pretty much the article that I wrote. It just basically sums up the most basic of basic things of Ichi. I mean, about B-bands that you can use with Ichi. Like, for example, let me just pull this one up. This is just like the most simple of simple things over here, and I'll show you live examples of this as well. Whenever you're seeing the price extend down, overly extend down on the B-band. So, like, if you notice over here, let me see if I can pull up a picture better. I think I know what ticker that was. That was M, wasn't it? No, it wasn't M. All right, whatever. But you see the lower B-bands extension over here, and then you see the upper B-bands extension over here. Live example of something like that would be is APT. So you see over here on APT, extension out, extension out, extension out. So you see extensions coming out and that are followed by consolidation. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a concrete top. It just means that it's going to be a temporary top for now. So you see this thing happen over here. Same with bottoms. Let me see if I can find a bottom one. Let me see if I can go through that list of tickers he mentioned. CRV, USD, no. Gala. Crypto tickers, let's see. Oh, CRV. I'm like over here looking up the wrong ticker. I don't think you'll see that much because I was pretty much MIA for the time that this happened, but I mean, you see it on some tickers over here where we ended up getting extreme wick extensions, but for the downside on identified bottoms, let me see if I can give you guys a better example on that. Like the one thing I didn't write in about this one, I didn't write about the hooks over here. I purposely left that one out because I didn't want to confuse people. But that's kind of the main bread and butter of everything that I do over here. So let me show you what I mean, on at least on this end of things. The thick line is going to be the daily B-bands. So like one of the main things that you're looking at right now for a lot of the tickers, I mean, you won't see this now as often right now just because we're beyond that point. But if you're looking at like these curves and S's, I've talked about this before on my stream. Let me do an example. Like whenever you see things like this happen on the B bands, when you start seeing curves happen over here on the downside, you'll see hooks happen multiple times. I mean, you'll see upper hooks over here as well, but we're not really here to discuss the upper hooks today. I'll keep the discussion on the lower hooks. When you start seeing the B bands line form out like this, what you'll end up seeing is a couple different things over here. So let me find an example. We can just use this as an example. I just picked a random ticker out. The way to identify things at this point is you'll be seeing things that are going through a long cloud over here. So things that have been exhausting for quite some time. So in stocks, I've been showing you the weekly charts, and they've been exhausting for about a year now. Actually, I probably can find a better example. XPI. Yes, let's do this. Yeah, this one's better. So like this is what you want to look for right now, is things that broke through the clouds right now and have been trending down for a while. When you start seeing this line starting to either level out or completely curve out, that's when you want to start looking for those triggers and start drawing those lines. So like when you see this hook happen over here at the same time is when you're going to want to see where those Tenkin levels are and where those Kijun levels are, and see if we're going to be doing a bullish TK cross, whatever it may be. Let me change the color here. So we'll change this to blue. We'll change this to black. So this is typically what you'll end up seeing over here. You'll start seeing this to hook out, and then you'll start seeing a bullish TK. And at that same point is where you can draw your general price action levels and then start figuring out where you want to set your bottom at, where you want to set your zones at. I mean, this is pretty much the easiest play I could say to people to figure out, is try to figure these things out. I mean, and the same thing works on the top as well. If you're trying to identify a top over here, you can do the same thing over here. And then you'll start seeing those lines coming down to where, I don't know if I'm drawing that one right, but I can show you a better example on that. I mean, Dixie was probably the most best example. I did this live with everybody for a while. You start seeing this hook happen over here, and then you start seeing these lines balance out, and you'll start seeing rejections happening on SPY over here on the monthly. Monthly is something that you don't really want to do this on, because there's just lower time frames that'll end up working their way out and kind of like flattening things out. But we see it over here on the monthly. It is something to be cautious about. But again, that's why I have my invalidation at 420. If this starts breaking over 420, it'll completely be invalidated. But right now, we're seeing this hook over here on SPY over here. I have so much on the chart, I can't even show you guys. Hold on. I can show you guys a different way. Like, notice over here how we're going up over here. We're starting to curve out. Like, this is what you want to look for when you're looking for tops and bottoms on tickers. At least if you're using my strategy. And you'll see rejections at the monthly B bands over here as well. Like, those are the points that you want to get into for any kind of shorts or whatever it may be. If you're starting to see this hook ahead of time and you haven't seen price react yet, that's where you want to go ahead and try to nail some kind of tops and bottoms. A lot of people try to nail tops and bottoms willy-nilly or because they see a wick or something. At least look for the setup before you try to enter into something. Dude, Fenco, thank you very much, man. And I really, really appreciate everybody that did go ahead and DM me and message me and weren't just like, yo, get insurance. I really, really appreciate it a lot. Like, you have no idea. Like, it means a lot to me, people reaching out. It's like little things that mean a lot to me. I don't need people to send me money or any kind of crazy shit like that. It just, words mean plenty to me. So thank you very much. I'm pretty sure all of you guys have said anything. Man of the year, dude. Good morning. I think I'm late to your response, but yeah, I mean, today's pretty much slow. I mean, there's not much going on in SPY right now. It's pretty much waiting for FOMC today. Again, like 15-minute right now, just kind of up and down, chopping people out on things. I'm sure if I look at my things right now, they're probably blown up. So, more chop until he actually speaks right now. I mean, I don't really have too much more to cover over. A lot of this is just kind of waiting on J Powell to break through. I can check out a couple more tickers, though, on my end of things and see if I'm seeing anything interesting forming out. Somebody asked for targets and levels on this one. Again, like look at these plays over here, the ones that are forming out on the bottom. I mean, if you guys have been on my stream, you guys have seen me do these things. So just another example of the hook bottom over here. Hook bottom, cloud entry, and push. This is all we're going to be looking for the next like month or two. Which one gets the hook? Which one gets the cloud entry? Which one extends through? I mean, this is the most beautiful, beautiful setup play ever. Got into the weekly clouds, just extending on up through. The worst sector ever, but hey, whatever. We're looking for setups. We don't care about the sector when we're doing this. But yeah, this is like the most beautiful play ever. I love it. Again, like if you're noticing over here, you're slowly starting to see things form out over here. You're seeing the curve on AMD, a little bit more consolidation, and you'll understand if you follow it long enough. You'll understand like where the price action has more of a probability to consolidate, where it has more of a probability to actually break out. So that's why sometimes when I see price trying to break out the points like this, where it's just an odd point over here, I know it's probably going to be unlikely that we break through. But if we're going to be getting into the clouds around this point, I know that those end-to-end plays have a higher probability of playing out. So it's just different factors that play into it depending on where we enter into the clouds at. So you always want to look for like the biggest gap for us to go ahead and play the cloud play. If you're trying to play something like this to where we're trying to exactly come up to the bottom like this, while it could go ahead and work out for some people, or it could work out for some plays, it's just not a setup that I find high probability on. And I've been watching these for years now, so that's why like I know for me what I want to go ahead and do. Like for example over here previously with SPY, like that's nice that we ended up getting all the way up over here, but if you notice, the cloud distance is small. We ended up retracing over here, and we didn't end up doing a cloud play until about here. And then we ended up completing the full cloud set. So you just want to be very, very selective on what you're doing. And a little bit of watching the screen will completely make this easier for you guys. You just got to watch it for a little bit, and you'll see this play out. Ribbon over here, a lot of tech tickers trying to do the same thing. Like Nevada over here, not the best weekly entry over here. That's why I'd want to be a little cautious. Another one, not the best. Honda Motors, this will be interesting to see. Intel, Kramer's bearish on this one. I couldn't be more bullish on this one if I tried. He's so bearish on this. Let me go check the order flow for this one, see if there is anything. INTC. He might be right, actually, on this one. There's all bearish order flow on this one. But for the past week, though, it's another story. I mean, the one that sticks out to me would be the 2025 45 strikes block players that are coming in, priced out at $1, only about a 50K position every year, so they should go ahead and enter in more. I mean, that'd be the only one if I was going to bet that Intel is going to be having some kind of volatility, and it wouldn't even be like a strike play. There's two different type of plays and options. There's plays and options where you're expecting the price to go in the money or deep in the money, or there's plays where you're strictly looking for volatility where you know it's going to be going up very strongly for a couple days. Like this is pure volatility. So people, let's just say you see some kind of crazy play over here where at 108 people were buying 250 calls, $300 calls. Directional volatility will pay you out on that. But if you're trying to hold into things beyond that, chop will completely ruin you. So you got to keep in mind, are you playing directional volatility? Or are you playing something to go in the money or deep in the money for your option plays? Those are two things that you really have to be considerate of before you go ahead and enter into your play. Directional volatility is a lot harder to play and a lot harder to time. So if you don't have the experience for directional volatility, don't try to do it. That's why, like with my setups, my whole entire like directional volatility and all that stuff, that all plays out once we get into the clouds. I'm just going to use TGTX as an example again. Like you can get directional volatility sometimes if your cloud entry ends up playing out nicely. And that's where technical setups bring out directional volatility. That's where you get lucky with your setup with volatility just happens to come in with your setup. So those are the kind of things that that's what I end up looking for half the time. I end up hoping that pretty much that once we get into the clouds, I know that the setup's going to complete, but in order for us to have, I don't know that we're going to have consistent days of up, 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 up. That's just an added bonus to my play. What else is there? So like Ribbon over here, like Ribbon has the cloud entry over here. So let's just say I did end up buying calls over here. I'd be only doing a call expectancy about 420, about $4 over here. If it ends up going beyond that point and ends up gapping up more, then that's an added benefit. With Ford, on the other hand, I know this is going to gap up. This does it every single time. So if we can get the directional volatility on Ford like we did before, I mean, this would be fantastic. I've been waiting for this play forever now. I don't know if anybody is in here from the previous times, but we nailed Ford. Like, I still have this triangle drawn. I'll never forget this triangle. This is probably like the easiest example of like most of my plays as well. Like, this is what you're looking for right now. You're looking for things that have been going down for quite some time, that have pretty much consolidated into the cloud entry and then just start expanding out. So yeah, this one ended up wow, I'm fucking surprised. So my calls didn't really get hurt by much. My calls, I mean, yeah, they did get hurt a little bit. I mean, they dumped down to about 114, so I did take a little bit of a hit over here. But the puts did really good. The puts went up 30%, so things kind of just balanced themselves out over here. So that's pretty much the FOMC strategy, is try to play bi-weekly, is try to basically balance out your ratio of the way you want to play and just pick a direction that you feel is going to work out. But again, it's all pure lottos over here on FOMC days. So let's see if Powell can help us spike back up. Do you guys have any questions? I'm going to go ahead and get off and grab something to eat for now, but then I'll be back on a little bit later. So if you guys have anything, anything you want to know, check out, let me know. My computer is running on low storage space. Fuck, my streams are recording. Damn it. I got to stop these things from recording. I guess it's not a bad idea. As far as NFT land goes, I mean, there's some things I'm taking a little bit of stabs on. Like, for example, this guy's stuff. I got like 22 of these things. They have like some kind of burn mechanism going on. I mean, NFTs are still the play, man. People keep saying that you can't do NFTs. Well, I'm over here just pretty much caking out on NFTs here and there. But yeah, it'll be really, really cool. I'm super excited for these guys to see what they come out with, how their game plays. So it'll be something that where if you play early on, you're probably going to get rewarded early on. I mean, it was the same thing when they were first launching. I ended up doing the mint on this one. I mean, yeah, I'm down on the mint, but it is what it is. But my pirates ended up gaining value. So I'm assuming as we end up, as this ends up going into time, it'll just end up being worth more. Your base will be worth more. You'll be able to sell things for more. So I'm still a full believer on this one. What else is there? I don't know. I followed a couple cool games and a couple cool things that were interesting. I typically end up shooting a like on things that are pretty cool. But then again, you shouldn't look at my likes because sometimes I like some stupid shit. So this is real funny. So I'm gonna make sure I make sure I use these in my stream all the time. So we're gonna pull the trigger, take a stab at it, and we're gonna take a jump the gun on everything I possibly can. What else is there? I think there was something else. Dude, everybody fucking lost their dog, like, within the last 30 days. Like, I know, like, several people that did. And it's like, what the fuck? What's this horrible thing? Bullish on bunnies? The narrative that you think will be huge on this bull run. That's a good question. I mean, I still think the Web3 and gaming narrative is still going to be very bullish because a lot of the projects that we're building, I believe they have enough time now to where they're going to start kicking things up. I mean, I'm still obviously very, very bullish on things like options platforms. So I'm still very bullish on things that coming out with options. That's one thing I'm very bullish on. What else is there going on? Not much going on SPY. He'll be speaking in about a couple hours. We'll get back on then.